Good afternoon, students. All of you answer these two questions. I'm going to end the poll now. Everybody answer. Okay. So 15 mod 7 is 1. So where mod operator gives the reminder value. So here 15 and 7. In first question, 15 and 7 both are the positive values. Reminder value is 1. Whereas in negative values, I mean in second question, minus 15 mod 7. So where minus 15 is a negative number. So in order to find out the mod for the negative numbers, so whatever the procedure we follow for positive numbers, like the dividend is a has a multiple. I mean dividend is a multiple. So in the same manner, we need to consider and we need to take the remainder value. And here in modular arithmetic, remainder value is always a positive value, isn't it? In the last class, we discussed that remainder is a positive value. So we have to keep that in mind and we need to calculate the mod value. So the result is 15 mod 7 is 1 and the minus 15 mod 7 is 6. So we discussed a prime number and how can we represent a normal integer. I mean, an integer can be represented with the product of prime numbers. Every integer can be represented as a product of prime numbers. And the number, all positive numbers other than the prime numbers are called as the composite numbers. And in order to perform the division, so we need to represent like this, the division operation. So dividend is equals to quotient into divisor plus remainder in that manner. So where remainder is a positive value, it is a non-negative value, and the divisor is the value of divisor is greater than the remainder, and the quotient should be the floor value of dividend and the so if quotient is equals to the floor of n by m, where n is a dividend and m is a division. And so normally whenever we are going to represent the division operation, so remainder should be a positive value. So in order to get the positive value, we have to represent like. So we have to take, so what we need to do is simply, for negative numbers like minus 24 by 10. So we can represent minus 24 is equals to, this is q into m plus r remainder, isn't it? So the remainder, the m value is 10 m value is 10 and we need to take. So simply what we need to do is we have to take the q and the r. So q value, we can guess the q value, like here value is -24. So we need to take a value, that the q value, we need to take a q value where q is greater than the n value. Q is greater than n, so that it will get the remainder. Sometimes remainder will be 0. So we have to choose like q is, I mean, for negative values, it is less than. So here we need to choose a value which is less than this value. Okay. So here we can choose a q value will be like, so we have to choose. So the entire q into m value should be less than this value, less than this 24. So that we can choose like -3. So -3 into 10 and the remainder value will be 6. Okay, so this entire value should be less than this, less than or is equals to n. So according to that, we need to choose the value. So q value will be -3 and the remainder value will be 6. And also we discussed the greatest common division, GCD, how to find out the GCD. So there is a theorem, the algorithm. So that is a GCD of two numbers. So GCD is nothing but GCD of two numbers is the greatest common divisor of the two numbers. So if the GCD of any two numbers is equals to 1, GCD of two numbers is 1, means these the numbers A and B doesn't have the common factors. Then A and B are called as the relatively prime or the co-prime. Relatively prime or co-prime. Suppose if we take GCD of 5 and 8, GCD of 5 and 8. So GCD of 5 and 8 is 1. So we can say that 5 and 8 are the relatively prime or the co-prime numbers. So according to the Euclid's algorithm, so GCD can be, the formula for calculating GCD is GCD of A comma B is equals to GCD of B comma A mod B. B comma A mod B. Okay, and the GCD of some number A and 0 gives the result A. GCD of A comma 0 is A. And so modular arithmetic. Generally, so two numbers are congruent, number n is congruently equivalent, number n is congruently equivalent to R mod m, where R is the remainder. R is the remainder of some number. So when we'll say that n is congruently equivalent to R mod m is, suppose if n mod m is equals to R mod m. N mod m is equals to R mod m. So directly, instead of writing this mod m, we can write it as n is congruently equivalent to. So this is a congruent symbol, congruently equivalent to R mod m. R mod m. Like if we take some number like 14, n is equals to 14, and the mod value that m is equals to, I'm going to consider like 6. Okay, n is equals to 14 and m is equals to 6. Then we can write 14 is congruently equivalent to 6 mod 6. So what is the corresponding value? So we can say that 2. Okay, so 14 is congruently equivalent to 2 mod 6 because 2 is the remainder. That is 14 mod 6 is what? 14 mod 6 is 2. So directly we can replace this remainder. So 2 mod 6 is again 6 only. 2 only. 2 mod 6 is 2. 14 mod 6 is also 2. So that is the representation of congruent equivalent numbers. So n is congruent to R mod m. Okay, and so it simply gives the remainder value. So here is the description about the how we can represent a number congruent to an R mod m. Congruent to R mod m. Okay, and so here whenever some number is congruent to R mod n, so if n is congruent to R mod n m, then so m is divisible by n minus r. M is divisible by n minus r. That is, so if we see this example, n and m values. So 14 is congruently congruent to 2 mod 6. So then m can divide n mod r. So this symbol is the division. So m is a factor. You can simply say that m is a factor. So here m value is 16. So 16 is divisible by n mod r. So n 14 mod 2. So that is 12. So 6 can divide 12, isn't it? So whenever n is congruent to R mod m, so we can say that m is congruent. M is so m is a divisor of n mod n minus r. Okay, so m can divide n minus r, and so there are some properties like, so if there are two numbers like a and a1 are two numbers, okay, and sorry, a is congruent to a1 mod m, and b is congruent to b1 mod m. Then a plus b is congruent to a1 plus b1 a1 plus b1 mod m, and also ab is congruent to a1 b1 mod m. Like, so if we take two numbers, like a is equals to some 5, okay, b is equals to some number. So first a is congruent to a1 mod m. So here I am going to take mod value as 5. So a is congruent to, that is 5 is congruent to we can say that a is not 5. I'm going to take a value as 15. Okay. So first I'm going to take a value as 15 and m value is 8. And I'm writing a is congruent to R mod m. So 15 is congruent to R mod m. So mod 8. 8 means, so it is 7. Capital R value will be 7. Isn't it? 7 mod 8 is 7 and 15 mod 8 is also 7. And I'm going to take another number, that is b. So b is equals to some number. B is some number like 23. Okay, 23. Oh. Then b1 will be, so here this is, we can say that this is a1, isn't it? Is a1 is 8. So b1 is 23, and then we can write it as and m is 8. So m is 8. So we can write it as 23 is congruently equivalent to mod 8. Okay. Or you can take like 24. Okay, instead of taking 23, I'm going to take 24. So 24 is congruently equivalent to which value? 24 means 0. We'll get 0. Otherwise, we'll take 25. So 25 is congruently equivalent to mod 8, isn't it? So 25 mod 8 is 1. So 1 mod 8. So here B1 is nothing but 1. So A is 15, A1 is 7, B is 25 and B1 is 1. Then we can say that A plus B is congruently equivalent to A1 plus B1 mod M. So that is 8. So here A plus B is nothing but 15 plus 25, that is 40. Is congruently equivalent to A1 plus B1. That is A1 is what, 7, B1 is 8, 1. So total 8. So 8 mod 8. So 8 mod 8 is nothing but what? We'll get 0 only. Anyway, so 40 mod 8 is what? 40 mod 8 is 0. So that is 40 is congruently equivalent to 8 mod 8. So this is one of the properties of this modular arithmetic. So if A is congruently equivalent to A1 mod M and B is congruently equivalent to B1 mod M, both are divisible by the M mod. Okay, then we can say that A plus B is congruently equivalent to A1 plus B1 mod M. So that is one of the properties. And second one is A into B is congruently equivalent to A1 into B1 mod M. So A into B. So in our example, A into B is nothing but, that is 25 into 15, what is the value? And A1 plus B1. The A1 plus B1 is 8. Sorry, A1 into B1 is 7. So 7 mod 8. So will be congruently equivalent. Okay. Then, so if there are some integers which represents the modulo M, then we can denote that by using the Zm. So Zm is nothing but is set of integers between 0 to M minus 1. So M is the value, mod value. Suppose we can represent like Z7. Z7 is a set of integers from all positive integers, set of all positive integers including the 0. So Z7 can be represented as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So Z7 means 0 to Zm means 0 to M minus 1. Values 0 to M minus 1. So it is a set of integers. So set of integers, so which will be useful in the modulo arithmetic. So here this M is the modulo M, so where it can be represented as Zm, so which is a set of integers from 0 to M minus 1. And so so if you know the modular, so if we know, so how modular will be calculated. So we can, we have to take the modular inverse. So because asymmetric algorithms, asymmetric encryption algorithms uses this GCD and the modulo arithmetic values. So here in modular arithmetic, modular inverse is one of the concept. So how can we find the modular inverse? Modular inverse, if there is an integer, so what is the modular inverse of that particular integer? If A is an integer, modular inverse of A is, so generally modular inverse will be there for the addition as well as the multiplication, because because this addition, the identity elements will be there for addition and the multiplication. So identity element for addition is the 0. Any number, so if we add 0 to any number, we'll get the same number. So whereas any number which multiplies with the 1 will get the same number. So 0 and 1 are the identity elements for addition and multiplication. So addition and multiplication, we can find additive inverse as well as the multiplicative inverse of the numbers. See, we'll see the set of numbers. So if any set of numbers, the inverse of a number contained in the same set. So suppose if there is a set natural numbers, then so whatever the number we are going to take, suppose if we take 3, so if we want to find the inverse, modular inverse of 3, or modular inverse in the sense, we can take the additive inverse or the multiplicative inverse. So if it is additive inverse, again, so it will be there in the same set. Okay, it will be there, it is another number in the same set. It may be 2 or 1, so whatever. So it will be the same number. In the same manner, multiplicative inverse will also exist in the same set, natural number set. So here is a definition, that is inverse of a number contained in the set is another number. Okay, is another number, and so whenever we combine that with the operation, so if we take the additive inverse, so the inverse number and the number which we are going to find out the inverse, so we'll give the result by applying the operator, that either addition or the multiplication, it will gives the identity element. Means generally in normal mathematics, in mathematics, additive inverse of 3, suppose if there is a number, additive inverse of 3 will be -3, because 3, if we add 3 with the -3, we'll get the result 0. So 0 is the identity element. And for multiplication, suppose if we take 3 and the multiplicative inverse of the number 3 is 1/3. Why? Because if we multiply 3 with the 1/3, we'll get the result 1. So that is the multiplication. Okay. So that is the in the mathematics representation, we'll take 1/3 is the as the multiplicative inverse. Whereas in this cryptographic representation, so here we are going to use a modular inverse. Okay, we are going to use the modular inverse. So we'll see how to calculate the multiplicative inverse of a number. Okay, so one is additive inverse, the other one is the multiplicative inverse. Additive identity element under different operations will be different. Yes. So for addition it is 0 and for multiplication it is 1. So under addition it is 0. For under normal multiplication, identity element is 1. Okay. Whereas in modular arithmetic, multiplicative inverse will be different. We'll see that multiplicative inverse, how to calculate the multiplicative inverse of a given number. Ordinary arithmetic, if the number is x, then additive inverse is -x. As I said, for 3, it is -3. And for 3, that is additive inverse. And for 3, multiplicative inverse is 1/3, that is 1/x. Whereas for the modular arithmetic, again we have to, it has to keep the property, that is whenever it is combined with the given number, it should give the identity element. Okay, it should give the identity element, but the procedure is same. Okay, for modular arithmetic, the same, the result will be same. The procedure will be different. If x is an integer, then multiplicative inverse is not 1/x. Okay, it is not 1/x. So instead, we have to use some modular operations. Okay, we'll see that. So how can we calculate the multiplicative inverses? So a number x can only have a multiplicative inverse. A number x can only have a multiplicative inverse if it is relatively prime to the modulus. Means, so if we are going to consider, if you are going to take the multiplicative inverse of a number, then that number multiplicative inverse. So it is a relatively prime to the modulus, relatively prime to the modulus operator. Relatively prime means what? Relatively prime is nothing but GCD of two numbers will be 1. GCD of two numbers. If a GCD of any two numbers is 1, then these two numbers are called as the relatively prime. So for a given number x, multiplicative inverse is nothing much. So where it is going to, so whenever we take x mod m, then so here x GCD of x comma m should be 1. Then only we can get the multiplicative inverse. So not every element will have the multiplicative inverse. Okay, not every element will have the multiplicative inverse under some modulo. So multiplicative inverse will be calculated under some modulo, like so suppose if the modulo m value is some 7, so we can calculate like suppose if x is equals to 5, and m is equals to 8, so we can calculate 15. X is equals to 15 and m is equals to 8. Then we can calculate calculate the multiplicative inverse of 15 under Z8 or Z8, under Z8. Multiplicative inverse of 15 under Z8. So we can calculate. So when we can calculate is if the GCD of 15 and 8 is 1. Okay, so it will have the multiplicative inverse. So x is equals to 15 and m is equals to 8. That is, it is the modulo 8 can be represented with the Z8. And multiplicative inverse of 15 is what? Multiplicative inverse of 15 is some number. Okay, multiplicative inverse of 15 is number which is between, so multiplicative inverse will be there in between 0 to 7, because Z8 will give the value 0 to 7. If m value is 8, it will give the values from 0 to m minus 1. So multiplicative inverse of 15 will be in between 0 and 7. When so whenever if GCD of 15 comma 8 is, okay, so what is GCD of 15 and 8? What is GCD of 15 and 8? Give your answer in chat box. Give your answer. Am I audible or not? What is GCD of 15 comma 8? How can you calculate? As per the Euclid's theorem, we can calculate GCD of 15 comma 8 is GCD of 8 comma 15 mod 8. 15 mod 8. Isn't it? GCD of 8 comma 15 mod 8. What is 15 mod 8? 15 mod 8 is 7. Okay, so 15 mod 8 is 7. So the result is GCD of 8 comma 7. So GCD of 8 comma 7 is nothing but GCD of 7 comma 8 mod 7. 8 mod 7. What is this? GCD of 7 comma 8 mod 7 is 1. Okay, so GCD of 7 comma 1. Okay, that is GCD of 1 comma 1 7 mod 1, that is 7 only. Okay, so here GCD of 15 comma 8 is 1. GCD of 15 comma 8 is 1, isn't it? So we can find the multiplicative inverse of 15. We can find the multiplicative inverse of 15. So what it is specifying, how can we find the multiplicative inverse is, so we have to follow this. So there is a number A. So A belongs to some, so A belongs to Zm. Okay. So multiplicative inverse of A. So multiplicative inverse of A mod M is a integer X. Again, that will also belongs to Zm. Such that, so Ax is equals to, Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod M. Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod M. So this is the procedure. Okay, this is the procedure. Like, suppose some number M is equals to 7. And X or A will take A only. So A is equals to 5. A is equals to 5. So where A belongs to Zm. That is A belongs to Z7. That is Z7 is nothing but 0 to 6. So 5 is between 0 to 6. Then we have to take the how can we find the multiplicative inverse? Simply we have to use this formula. Ax and Ax is equals to 1. Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod M. So we have to find that x. Okay, we have to find that x. We have to find that x. That is Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod Zm. That is 7. Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 7. 1 mod 7. What is A? That is 5. So 5x is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 7. Okay, 5x is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 7. So what will be the 5 value? So we need to get like 5x, we need to take 5x mod 7. So it should give the value 1 because 5x is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 7 means this is the remainder. 1 is the remainder. So 5x mod 7 is equals to 1. So what will be the x value then? To which value we'll get? So we have to keep on substituting. Suppose if I take x is equals to 1. So 5 mod 7 is 5. So which is not is equals to 1. If I take 2, that is 10. If x is equals to 2, that is 10. 10 mod 7 is what? 10 mod 7 is 3. Okay, if I take x is equals to 3. So 5 3 is a 15. So 15 mod 7 is 1. 15 mod 7 is 1. So we can take 3. So x value, we can substitute x value as 3. So 5x is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 7 where x is equals to 3. Means the given value is A is equals to 5. A is equals to 5 is the given value. The multiplicative inverse of A is what? If A is equals to 5, multiplicative inverse, A inverse is equals to 3. Understood? Multiplicative inverse of A is, that is 5 is 3. One more example. You understood, or you want to give one more example? No response at all. Are you listening or not, ma?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay. All of you answer this question. So if A is equals to 4 and M value is 6, then all of you calculate the A inverse value. A inverse, what is the multiplicative inverse of 4?
Mom, is it 1 by 4?
Huh?
Is it 1 by 4?
No, 1 by 4 will not get fractions. We'll get only the positive values. If you see the definition, multiplicative inverse is also in between. So here M is 6 means that can be represented as Z6. Z6 is nothing but 0 to 5. So if A is 4 and if there exists a multiplicative inverse to A, that will also be a part of the same set, but not the same. It is a part of the same set. So every number may have or may not have the multiplicative inverse. If it exists, then it will be there in that thing. So it is not 1 by 4, will not get fractions. Whatever the method I have explained, right? You want me to explain again? All of you submit your answer. Whole question answer. So GCD of A comma B is equals to 1. Then A and B are called co-prime numbers. Yes, it is true. We can also call it as a relatively prime numbers. So coming to this multiplicative inverse. So multiplicative inverse of a number. A is 4 and M is 6. So how can we calculate this? The formula is we need to take some x. So AX is congruently equivalent to 1 mod M. Okay, so here A is 4. So 4x is congruently equivalent to 1 mod 6. So what we need to do is we have to take 4 into x value 1 and 4 value, x value 2, x value is 3, x value is 4 until 5. Why? Because Z6 is nothing but 0 to 5. Okay, Z6 is nothing but 0 to 5 and X is also multiplicative inverse. The maximum value of multiplicative inverse is also belongs to the set of Z, that modulo. So 4 into 1 is what? Is 4. 4 into 1 is 4. Mod 6 is what? 4 mod 6 is 4. So which is not 1. 4 mod 2 is, 4 into 2 is 8. 8 mod 6 is 12. 12 mod 6 is 0. So it is not is equals to 1. 4 mod 4 is 16. 16 mod 6. That is 4. Again, not multiplicative inverse. And 4 into 5 is 20. 20 mod 6. 20 mod 6 is 2. Again, it is not multiplicative inverse. Means what? It is, there is no multiplicative inverse to 4 under 6, under mod 6. So A value 4, there is no multiplicative inverse, that is 4 inverse. There is no multiplicative inverse of 4 under modulo 6. So I have given, first, in order to find whether there is a multiplicative inverse or not, simply what we need to do is we have to find the GCD of that A and the mod value. So A and the mod value. So if the GCD of A and mod value is 1, then only there will be multiplicative inverse. Anyway, so GCD of 4 and 6. What is the GCD of 4 and 6? What is the GCD of 4 and 6? Factors of 4 are like 1, 2 and 4. For 6 is 1, 2, 3, 6. So 1 is a common factor, 2 is also common factor. The greatest factor is 2. So 2 is a GCD of 4 and 6, which is not is equals to 1. So that is why we can simply say that there is no multiplicative inverse to 4 under modulo 6. Under modulo 6. So this is the definition. A is a number that belongs to a modulo m, Zm. And so whatever the multiplicative inverse, x is the result of the multiplicative inverse. Okay. Multiplicative inverse of A is x. And that x is also belongs to Gm. And when we will get that x value is whenever this condition satisfies. Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod m. So we have to find out the x. So which satisfies that. So if there is no x in between, so I mean in between 0 to m, if there is no x in between 0 to m which satisfies this condition, then we can say that there is no multiplicative inverse. So if such x exists, then only A is said to be invertible. Otherwise, there is no multiplicative inverse. Okay. I hope you are clear with the multiplicative inverse. So you practice some. So I'll give some questions, you just practice. So if m is equals to 8, and what is the multiplicative inverse of 3? A is equals to 3, and m is equals to 9, and A is equals to 5. Okay, m is equals to some 21, and A is equals to 12. So what is a multiplicative inverse? So you just practice, so that in the examination you can easily calculate the multiplicative inverse. So condition is Ax is congruently equivalent to 1 mod m. It should satisfy this. So before going to apply this formula, first you calculate the GCD of A comma m. So if GCD of A comma m is 1, then only you go with the formula, because then only we'll get the x value. I mean, there will be a multiplicative inverse of a given number. Otherwise, there won't be multiplicative inverse. So this is step 1, and this is step 2. Okay, so there are some algorithms on this modulo arithmetic, like Euler's theorem is there, Fermat's theorem is there, Chinese theorem is there, remainder theorem is there. So we'll discuss in the next class. Any doubts? Okay, you can leave. Thank you.